Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the PHNX Suns podcast. I am Aspo. He is Saul Bookman. As you can tell, that's not Lindsay or Gerald at the bottom of the screen. This is a very special guest we're welcoming. Alternate Governor of the Phoenix Suns, Justin Ishbia. Justin, thanks so much for taking time out of what I know is an immensely busy schedule for you.
Really excited to be here, and thanks for the opportunity, and excited to connect more with the Suns Nation.
Well, I want to start here, and we'll get into your background, all those kind of things, but I want to start here. In October, when we heard the team was going up for sale, we heard all kinds of names tied to this team, but at what point did you and Matt decide that you really wanted to make a run at the Phoenix Suns, and when did you realize, wow, this dream of becoming NBA or sports owners was really going to happen?
I mean, once it became apparent that Suns would be available, it was jumped to the top of our list. And we were rumored to be involved in other processes and other sports, but we view Phoenix to be like a sleeping giant. We know it's a town where I don't know why it can't compete with LA or Miami for the long term, and those have been kind of basketball hubs that I think are highly respected. And so when the opportunity came to fruition, we said, no, let's make sure we put our eggs in this basket. And the past had some challenges, and so we're hopeful to bring a different approach and different opportunity, but those past challenges led us here. And so we're grateful for the opportunity. We're thankful for the prior ownership choosing us. They could have chosen other people. It wasn't like they had to sell to us exactly. They could have picked whoever they wanted to, but we're really excited to be here and focus on the future and hopefully doing things for a generation. Matt and I plan to be partners and be the governor and ultimate governor for the rest of our lives. And so we want to put deep roots in here and hopefully do right by the community. And as Matt said, we're the stewards of this team. We aren't the owners of this team. There's a difference, and it's our job to do our very best. And at our core, Matt and I are fans. We want to win. Like, we are passionate about sports, passionate about basketball, and do everything with our power to win. But it's a balance, right? You can't win forever being like to trade assets and make trades. You can't always be that way, but it's being thoughtful and doing what we think is the best chance to be competitive at all times.
I got to know, Justin, the night that the NBA finally gave you the go-ahead, everything's all good to go. Like, there had to have been some champagne popping. There had to have been some type of get-together. What was that night like? What happened? Give us set up the scene for us.
So it was really special. So Matt and I have been best friends. This has been a dream since we were kids. Like, in the reality, like, we didn't think this would happen in our 40s. We were thinking if we were so fortunate to be the way down the road. And so it was a really special day. We were announced. We knew it was going to happen for a while, but then the deal closed on the press announcement was on I think Wednesday morning, and then the trade deadline was that Thursday, I believe. And so we had family in town, some friends in town. We had a dinner, and that day was busy. We had the press conference in the morning, but for a couple of days, we've been talking about the opportunity for Kevin Durant. And so that had been on the list. Other opportunities also presented themselves, but he had a chance for a once-in-a-lifetime type of guy. And so we had some conversations. Me and Matt and Ryan and James were kind of in the office in the afternoon on it was Wednesday afternoon. We kind of all went on the table and did a straw poll of, if this, if that, what do you think we should, play out tonight? And then had a dinner. It was me and Matt, my parents, several friends from the Phoenix community. A couple of friends came out of town. My aunt and uncle live in Tucson. We were all together at a big group dinner and had a lot of fun talking. And we had to step out from the dinner multiple times to take some phone calls and chat a little bit. And then that evening, Matt and I chatted a little bit, and it's a once-in-a-generation player. Very rarely does a top 10 player move around that often. And credit to James and the whole entire team. I think people underestimate how important it was to have all the assets we had to pull it off. It wasn't like, we walk in the door and it was like, we're making a trade for Kevin Durant. Like, James did a fabulous job of having, 8 draft picks in a row that we were able to trade, 4 of them. He did a great job of having some incredible young players. And we never got to know the twins, personally that well. We've met them, I think, I didn't met them briefly, I think. But it was a special night, all around a table, in and out of the meeting. And then that evening, around 11 o'clock, kind of the final conversation and the go ahead. And your phone was buzzing all night long, effectively. Like, literally went to bed. But it was like, I think Matt and I each slept 2 or 3 hours that night. It was buzzing, but it was also just such an exciting time, to bring a special player to the community. And I think hopefully thrust our team into a real title contention this year. And we're hopeful we're on that path right now.
You said something that surprised me. I have a younger sibling, and when we were younger, we didn't exactly get along. We got along. We get along now as adults. But did you and Matt always have this relationship? You said you guys kind of, as kids, even dreamt of this. I couldn't imagine sharing a sandwich with my younger sibling when I was a kid, let alone an entire NBA franchise or sports franchise.
So Matt and I are like best friends, super competitive with each other. If you knew us when we were 8 years old and 10 years old, we were in the backyard pushing and shoving. So we're 2 grades apart. And so literally at all times, like when you're a little league baseball or little league basketball, whatever it is, like the 9 and 10-year-old team, I'm a 10-year-old, and the guys who are 9 are on my team. And the following year, I'm 11. Those 9-year-olds become 10-year-olds, and the Matt's 9-year-old. And so that grade in between was all of our same. We had the same friends. We played all these sports, and so we were always doing things together. And when him and I are by ourselves, we're playing Sega Genesis when we were kids, Nintendo, playing NHL hockey, competing with each other, playing one-on-one basketball, ping pong, anything. Him and I are super competitive, and we were at each other's throats a lot. That's the honest answer. But when anyone besides us said one bad word with the other one, I was like, hey, no, I can tell you why he's stupid, or I can tell you why he's a bad ping pong player, but no one else can say a bad word. So no, our parents taught us from the very beginning it was super important.
Okay, you brought up Sega. You brought up Sega. I was a big Sega guy. Did you guys play NBA
we
Jam a lot?
NBA Jam, played a bunch. But NHL hockey, we were that era. So this is like early 90s. That Penguins team, I was always the Penguins. He was always the Sabres. And those were some good teams. We played back and forth. And we played like Tecmo Bowl and, RBI baseball, all that sort of stuff. It was competitive. Like we'd be in our basement. We would listen to like some, whatever the song of the year was, whatever some songs were on. And we'd be playing over and over again on our mixtape or cassettes. And we'd be playing back and forth and ping pong. We had a Papa Shot in our basement also. A Papa Shot, a ping pong table, and a little, Sega Genesis on a little kind of 12 by 10 TV, an old one that we recycled. And so, yeah, we're always super close, always very competitive, always want to see the other one do well. But we went to stuff competitively. I want to beat him, he want to beat me. But when him and I have been always a united front. I went to college together. He was a couple years behind me, but in college, he lived with his friends, lived with my friends. But I lived in the summer. We rented a house together and had our friends kind of intermix for a couple of summers. And I've always been close. And then Chicago, we lived together for a couple of years before he got engaged. He moved back to Detroit, and then I've been here ever since my wife here. So I would say always super close. But yeah, that night was a special night, especially having the next morning, even having that next morning, mom and dad had us, Matt and I, over to the room for breakfast. And like literally on the TV was like Kevin Durant traded to the Phoenix Suns, and then we're like, it's like surreal seeing the TV right there, mom and dad, me and Matt having breakfast, and so it was a fun time.
Justin, it's no secret that obviously before you guys got here, the previous regime had a reputation for having a toxic work environment. What kind of things have you guys already started to implement? Because both you and Matt come from somewhat different industries, and then you're bringing those combined experiences into this environment. And you talked a lot about family. I'm going to assume there's some dynamic there that is blending in and bleeding into what we're doing with the Suns now.
Yeah, I mean, Matt and I are family, and this will be a family-owned business for the rest of our lives. That's how we think about it. And, the former CEO wasn't around right after we closed. We had a kind of separation there. We brought in somebody we think has a great sort of head on his shoulders and a great cultural leader. And literally the first day, when we had the press conference the next day, actually before the press conference, we met with a team that was in the office that day and kind of told them our vision, what we wanted to do, kind of our 4 core principles, win championships, be the best place to work, a raving fan experience, and be an asset to this community, and sort of bring sort of some great opportunities and, philanthropically. And we said, in those early days, we sat with all the employees after that and said, I want you to tell us 2 things that we should keep doing and 2 things we should stop doing. And so literally we had 250 something responses. I read it personally and sort of met every single one. And from as little as the coffee stinks to, hundreds of things. They would have dog day once a month, like literally things on the spectrum. But that's how we were raised was listen. My dad always taught me 2 ears, 1 mouth, use them proportionally. And so when you join, I think the very early days was listen, hear what is going on, what's going well from our perspective, what's not going. There are themes that came out of those notes. Like it wasn't like any one person put as responsible, but there were themes of, look, we think the office space could be better than it is. Sure, let's invest in this. And no matter how you're doing the rest of our lives, we want to invest in people. We always say people are our biggest asset. And so give the right people to the right opportunity and focus on the future and create really a team culture where, we call people employees, we call them team members. And so that's how we think about it.
Well, I got to say, I spent 5 years in the organization. I know a lot of people still there, and it's very much appreciated the approach you guys are taking. And I don't know if you guys have heard that a lot, but it is very appreciated. And so thank you for that. For myself.
So credit to Josh as a CEO, and Kim as an HR. Like, there's a lot of James in the past. Like, Matt and I are here, but those people are running the business day in, day out, and they're the ones making the important decisions. And they come with questions here and there, but our view is everything long-term focused. Do the right by your people for the long term, and when you empower them to do that, and they're making the decisions. So the credit's to them, not really to us.
Yeah, you bring up Josh Bartelstein, the new CEO of the club. Is there any concern with him being a Michigan basketball alum, and obviously you and Matt are MSU guys? When rivalry week comes, is it going to be a little tense?
All I'll say this Phoenix Sun community is that the bar is super, super high for us to hire Wolverine, and he cleared that bar. So, but there will be some, I think, some rivalry back and forth. He played college basketball for Michigan. He was on the finals team in 2013. So he has that DNA and background. As you may know, his father is kind of one of the super agents in the NBA and has that kind of background. So he's been living, breathing basketball since he's been a kid. And we got to know him, in the past, just being in our Detroit community. And, yeah, we still give him a hard time, like tell him he can't wear Michigan stuff in the office. It's not allowed and that sort of stuff. But it's all in good fun. The rivalries are fun, and it makes us have some focus on things to jibe each other about.
What has surprised you the most in owning this team that you didn't expect coming from the world that you're in?
So one of my best friends lives in the Phoenix community, and before it was public, I was talking to him. This was like very likely to happen, and I didn't realize how much the Phoenix Suns were such a passion of the community in comparison to other pro sports. I live in Chicago, and everyone loves Jordan's from here, right? So this is but I would say other sports have a lion's share of attention. But learning a little more, coming in '69, the only sports team there for 20 years, having in men's sports leagues. By the way, the Mercury has been something that's really important to us. We, as you will see with time, when I'll lead into Mercury, we signed Brittany, Deanna, something really important to us. The women's opportunity. Matt coaches his daughter. I have a little girl as well. This is something really important to us. But as we think about kind of where we want to go, I think that all of this, kind of ties back to how to write by people. I think that's the core of how we think about everything.
Justin, one of the things that I don't know if you guys have really experienced yet, but you're about to, is peak Suns fandom. And really inside the arena. I think there's been people who are excited about the Clippers, but I think from an outsider's perspective, they thought, the Suns had a pretty good chance to get past this round. But the number one seed could be looming in the next round. And I feel like the frenetic pace of this building is going to just be crazy. What do you know about it based off of what people have told you basically about 2021? And how excited are you about the potential for the remainder of these playoffs starting tomorrow with Game 5?
I could not be more excited. And at least for me, we're not looking past anybody. I think we got to win Game 5 first and foremost. Clippers, surprised us to win Game 1. Tyronn Lue is an amazing coach. They have some great players there. Guess what? Denver earned the right to have 4 home games, and they'll have that if they advance and we advance. But I don't play the game, so I can look ahead of me a little bit because I'm not playing either way. But I think our team, the whole organization, is focused on being the Clippers. But if we're so fortunate to get beyond that, another great team was the 1 seed. They were ahead of most of the Western Conference for most of the year by 6, 7, 8, 9 games, and they kind of faded towards the end because they rested some players. But that's what it perceived the rest of some players. But from what I saw in the Kevin Durant press conference, to have a press conference when I don't know how many people were there, but half the lower bowl on the one side was kind of full with fans and the fervor around that. I was also fortunate enough I was able to go to in 2021 Game 3 of the NBA Finals in Milwaukee. I live in Chicago, and so I have a friend involved in Milwaukee. I went up there just because I love basketball, so I went there for the game. And I saw, if memory serves, I think that game, prior ownership flew out almost all the employees, or a good portion of the employees. And, I happened to see that, and the passion, the love for it. And, that didn't work out for us that year. But I had glimpsed into it there, glimpsed into Kevin Durant. I was there on Sunday night, at home. I was there on Thursday night in Los Angeles. I'm excited for Memories Ahead. And my buddy had told me, like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into right now. This is going to be some really special. The fan base here is truly special. We're honored to be a part of it and hopefully contribute in some positive ways, and hopefully, put ourselves on the chance to have a long run. What I meant to say before was I read it after, other than women's sports, which has been a lot of great success in Mercury, of the men's major four sports, football, baseball, basketball, and hockey, only one championship in history, the 2001 Diamondbacks. It's been a long time, a drought, 22 years, and for the other three sports, never. We're hopeful to change that, and I know what it could mean to win a championship for a town. I live in Chicago, as you guys know, and I was there the night the Cubs won the World Series. I was in Chicago. They won in Cleveland, but I remember walking by Wrigley Field. There's a big crowd of people celebrating right in front of the stadium. And there was, this is one of the things I love about sports, is that there was a man, probably in his 50s, at Wrigley Field on the wall with chalk, writing on the wall saying, "Dad, I told you one day this would happen. Love you, Dad." Like, that's going to happen for Suns fans one day. There's going to be someone that unfortunately used to come to a bunch of games with their father or mother or someone they love, and that person is no longer with us one day, and he'll bring a championship, and they rekindle and say, "Dad, I told you this day would come." And so I'm hopeful they'll bring that. But I saw we love sports. It's in our blood. But I saw that, and I was like, man, the amazing thing about sports is a platform to reach so many people and make so much positive. It's, people have ups and downs in their lives. You always never know what challenge someone's going through. And, hopefully 2 hours of basketball and thinking about it also gives them a reprieve from their day-to-day life, and helps them to focus on and community to rally around.
Yeah, Phoenix's love language is Suns basketball, so you'll learn that. You'll learn that real quick. Since what's something that we don't know about you and Matt? That's something that might surprise us, or something that you guys want all of us here in Phoenix to know about you.
It's a great question. Matt and I are avid ping pong players, and we play with each other. It's get pretty competitive. When we were younger, it led to many shoving matches and mom having to separate, but we were ping pong players when we were kids. But I think its core was beyond. Ping pong is just emblematic of our DNA. Like, we want to win, period. You guys probably seen that a little bit from the outside, but we have and we love business. Like we both want to play pro sports. Baseball is kind of my first love. I love basketball and football. So we love those three sports are kind of where Matt and I's hearts are, I think. But Matt is definitely, been the leader in our family on the basketball side. I think there's a deep passion to be a fan, but also to drive excellence in business. And I love where business meets basketball. That's kind of where my mindset goes of like how to make a better fan experience. Like, I really think about the dad taking his son for the first game and sitting, wherever they may be sitting, and the popcorn line, the beer line, the soda line, whatever it may be. And so I guess I would say is that there's a deep passion and desire to win. There's also the business side of us that says we want to create an amazing experience, and you have to invest in certain things in the front end to hopefully have better outcomes over the long term. But yeah, I think if I said one small effect, that'd be it. And him and I haven't played basketball also one-on-one in 25 years. The last time him and I played one-on-one was he was in college. I was smart enough not to play him again after that because he was getting stronger and bigger and better. And so last time we played, it was a close game. So him and I still have that rivalry, and let it show. And his kids sometimes see it, and our kids see it sometimes when him and I play in the backyard. Even when we're playing against our kids, sometimes Matt and I play against my two nephews, Ben and Joey, 2-on-2. And I think we have a hard time even letting them win sometimes.
This sounds like a great halftime show, if I'm being honest. You and Matt one-on-one at halftime. Yeah,
I would feel bad for the referee because both of us are crying foul every time. I guarantee you. If we miss, we would call foul.
That's great. Now, obviously, you talk business side. When people come in new, they want to leave their fingerprint, their mark on an organization. What do you think going forward? Is there anything in particular that fans might notice different? I know TV contract obviously is up. Radio will be changing with Al McCoy. Set to retire. Is there anything that you guys foresee that will kind of have your fingerprint on it moving forward?
So there's, I say, short-term and long-term things. So in the short term, I don't know if you may or may not have noticed, we've been really putting emphasis on the timeout breaks, halftime, different type of entertainment, more T-shirts, more balls. As a kid, I was jump up and down for a $5 T-shirt like I was a crazy man, and like it makes a difference. So We last time I was there, we had some little kids like dunking basketballs or something. Like, I think in the short term, like, okay, let's try and increase the fan experience. Like, in my mindset, basketball is what I love, and you guys probably love it as well. But in reality, broadly speaking, it's entertainment, right? Someone can go take their $25 or $50 and go to a movie. They can go to a NASCAR race. Or they can come to a Suns game, and we want it to be packed with entertainment and enjoyable. And someone else I met in the NBA circle after we fortunately become owners here said to me, Justin, winning isn't a business strategy. You will eventually lose. That's just the reality of it. You won't be able to be in the NBA finals for 50 years in a row. That's just not possible. So do right by the business, strive for excellence, have a place where people want to work. I think a lot of people want to work in sports because that's what they love it. And so how we attract amazing talent, and at the end of the day, create a raving fan experience. I want that dad and mom to go home every single time and be like, I had a great time. Win or lose, I had a great time. But I think some of the short-term stuff is trying to enhance the entertainment during the game. Some of the longer-term stuff is big picture. Like I think the Ring of Honor should be differently. I think we're thinking about it. Like I read. By the way, Matt and I are avid readers. Like you guys read on Twitter. Like I'm telling you, we read almost everything. Literally, you guys.
I'm sorry.
I pay. You pay attention.
Whoops.
Twitter is its whole own little ecosystem. I have to remind ourselves it's a voice, not the voice. And there's a reason why people do surveys and talk to employees and talk to people in different parts of the community. But it's a voice, and it's, I think, well educated and passionate fan base. May swing from super happy to super upset and back and forth. But we read, we listen, and hopefully you guys know that we are paying attention, and that's what we love. Matt and I aren't doing this to make money. Someone said to me, like, what's your goal? I was like, it isn't make money. Like, no one's remember Matt and I as owners of the Suns in 50 years of like, well, they increased EBITDA percentage by 17%. No one cares. What they care about is, man, they do it in a first-class way, and we've won. Like, that's what we want them to say. Like, I was fortunate raising Detroit, and there was an owner named Bill Davidson, who I think was, my view, one of the best NBA owners of all time. If you talk to some of the older guard, that era, they had the same thing. And I think he was the first one to introduce private planes to the team because it made a better place for them to chance. And it was called Airball One. And when he ended up passing away in Detroit, he was revered, and the community, like I said, Mr. D, and that's what they called him around there. And like, he was revered as a great leader and steward of a community asset. And I hope one day we're viewed that way. So that's a legacy we like to leave, but we're 45 and 43. We got time. I don't want to die anytime soon, but we want to leave that legacy, and hopefully our children want to be involved also one day down the road. But if we can be looked on in the same way as that, Bill Davis was looked on by the Detroit community, I think we'll have done well by the Suns community.
One of the things that Espo kind of alluded to is just the changing dynamic in media right now as we speak. Television, radio, digital, streaming rights, the whole. How many talks have you and Matt had about just that overall big picture and where the industry is going, and really how to provide the best experience? You're talking about in-arena stuff a lot, but like the experience for the consumer, because 100%. I'm here to tell you that's a big issue among a lot of fans right now.
Yeah, no. So I think memory serves, our current Valley Sport Network reaches about 800,000 fans in the Phoenix community. There's other opportunities to hopefully be broader than that. And so hopefully in the near future, we'll have the opportunity to touch more fans and have hopefully a quality of broadcast that is best in class. Suns are one of the few teams in the NBA that controls their own broadcast and has their own internal sort of team that does it. And so I think that control gives you the opportunity to really make a really positive impact. But it's very high on our list, and hopefully we'll have some news in the near future about what's next. And but it's when there was opportunities to expand how many people could see the Suns for free or for very, very low cost. That was high on our list of things to prioritize, and hopefully have some good news in that in the near future.
Justin, I really appreciate your time. Like I said, I know how busy you are. I know it's late there in Chicago as we record this, so thank you for the time, and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you for all you guys do for the Suns fan base. Like, we watch, we listen. You guys are amazing, and we're here to help win. I want the fans to hear this. Mothers and fathers out there, we were you. Matt and I weren't in this situation our whole entire lives. We grew up in a different way than we probably are today, and I want you to know that we are those fans. We are diehard fans, and we'll do our very best to give this community a chance to win, hopefully, multiple championships in the next coming decades.
That's what we love to hear. He's Justin Ishbia, joining us here on the program.